Okay, so I just lay the backing for the quilt face down on the work surface, and then I layer a piece of flannel. I like to use flannel because it's a little bit thinner and easier to hand quilt through, and it makes the little quilts a little bit more pliable and not so stiff. And then I put the quilt top on the quilt, smooth it all out. If you might want to just give it all a good press on both sides, helps kind of stick everything together. Then I use a long basting needle and my YLI thread, and I just take this big stitches. I knot it at the end, and I just kind of go back and forth. Doesn't need to be anything pretty. And then just kind of make sure it lays flat, and then go up. And just kind of turn the quilt, and go back the other way, all the way across. And then once you've done that, you can use your favorite marking tool, either pencil. The friction pen is nice because you can just iron it off later and it disappears. And just mark where you're going to do your hand quilting. It's easiest to try to do your hand quilting not through as few seams as possible, because that's where it gets really thick and harder to get your needle through. I kind of don't take hand quilting too seriously. So if I can't get it through, I just go around. So you just mark them all. You could do something different on the borders, like maybe just do, you know, some lines like that. Okay, and then I do my hand quilting with, I use a little under thimble on my whatever finger that is. I don't have a clue what that is. And whatever thimble is comfortable for you. This one really seems to work well for me, and so that's what I use. Take a little bit of the thread, and I'm gonna bury my knot. So I come up where I'm gonna start hand quilting, and then I just pop it through the thread. So you have to kind of make sure that knot is on the tinier side. This thimble is like, you think I know what I'm doing, but I have it on the wrong finger. And then you just start and you just go in. This thimble is really nice because you can just lock your needle into the little hole. Try to go through. Every time you're going under, you're hitting that little under thimble, so you make sure you're going all the way through. And I just don't really worry about like 10 stitches to an inch. I just think it adds such an extra little vintage feel to the quilt that especially once it gets washed, it gets kind of a little crinkly and just looks a little bit. Oops. Okay. Right, so you just keep going. If you need to, let's say we were out of thread and we were right here in the middle of the quilt, I would just, get rid of that. I just go like in through a seam where it's bulky, kind of just come out. This is probably, and then I go in again, just kind of like bury it, and then I just clip it, which I can't find my scissors right now, so that's how then you can just do the same thing and start up again, put the knot, bury it underneath, go across, and just go until the whole thing is done. So I like to use single thickness binding on the little quilts because it just makes them, again, more pliable on the edge, not so bulky. So I just use 1.5 inches strip, I seam it the same way you would if you were making a large binding, and then I just press it under a 1/4 inch all the way along the long edge, so that when I sew it on exactly the same way you would any regular binding. I just you know, sew along, do the corners, and then you just flip it to the back, and then it's all ready to just hand stitch down on the back side. Of course, after you trim off all the extra on your little quilt.